do I have graded? I have most people's truth table test graded. I don't have your math workshop test graded, but this is a small class, so it's very feasible that I can show you both before the end of the period. Very feasible. Ish. We're hoping-ish that this can all work out. However, that really depends on you and your productivity level. So I didn't finish grading both your tests from yesterday, but silly Miss Compton, she's so silly. She thought, oh, you know what? They still need some nice gimme grades. I lost my math workshop. Anyway, they need some nice gimme grades, so I should grade their 2.2.1 that they did with their group on Monday.
Yay!
That's what I thought too. I was really excited. I got 2 different books out from 2 different groups. I looked in their books. Their 2.2.1s were blank. And I was like, and I will shut these. I will mention this to them, and they will rectify. So if your 2.2.1 is blank, you're the book that I was trying to look at. You need to rectify that situation and get your life right so I can give your group some points for having been alive. Okay. Beyond that, sadly enough, can you believe we are going to do math in math class? It's so terrible. It's the worst. But it's not going to take long. We are going to do this one math workshop question, just number 16. And then we're going to talk about a new operator, and you have a couple problems to do on your own, but it really shouldn't take you long today. That's my goal. It's not to take long. Okay, we've got 2 people, Stephen and Jade. They are trying to solve this equation for B2. Is either of them correct? And explain your reasoning. So who is correct and why? You can get up to 2 points. Yes, dear.
Oh, yeah. I don't know that workshop.
Okay.
But yes, I do. I got something in the workshop.
Something.
I got, this is one of them, but I got it.
Who is correct and why?
Okay. Is it this? No, I don't know.
It's either Stephen or Jade. Anyone else have a thought?
Jade.
Okay, I will give 1 and 5 a point. Jade is correct. Can someone tell me where Stephen is wrong? Yes, Lauren. Leaving it.
I thought, no.
Yeah.
So that's how you get from that whole fraction.
Yes, and you can have 2 more points for that because you explained that well. Here's his mistake. So let's actually think about his work. He had 2a divided by h, and I'm going to drop the parentheses. He had 2a divided by h equals b1 plus b2. Bless his heart, he made it all the way till here. He needed to get b2 by itself, so he subtracted b1 from both sides. He should have had 2a over h, that whole fraction, minus b1 equals b2. But for some reason, he decided b1 should jump in the fraction. These don't just get to jump in fractions. That's not how math works. So he made a mistake on that very last line, which is so sad. So Jade is correct. Stephen was almost correct. He made a typo there at the very end. Okay, are there any questions about this one? Then I've got some easy points for you. What are the 2 operators we've been discussing lately? 2 operators with truth tables.
Negotiation.
Negation is one of the things we've been talking about. That's not an operator, but yes, we have been talking about negation. No, that's good. Operator, like the main symbol in between them. And an or, and I heard it from Grant and Brittany, so each have 2 points. And or. Negation, when we say it out loud, we say not. So the squiggle sign P would read not P. Okay, so you took a test yesterday. There were 2 problems on the test that looked something like this. Well, there were 2 columns. And they involved this concept. Let me rephrase it. They involved this concept. So you would think, if you had a negative sign on the outside, that you would get to distribute it. And you do. It does become negative P, negative Q. But the strange thing, when you distribute that negative symbol, it actually swaps the or to an and. It swaps your operator. And so, if on number 6 of the table, the test yesterday, if your 2 columns didn't match, you've done something wrong. They were supposed to match because these are logically equivalent statements. In the same way, if we were to put not P and Q, and you're like, well, can I distribute the not symbol then? Yep, you can do not P, not Q. In the same way, it changes that and into an or. So regardless, if you've got a negation symbol on the outside of your parentheses, when you try to distribute it, it swaps your and to an or, it swaps your or to an and, it swaps your symbol. There were 2 problems on the test. And what's cool about these is their truth table should match. They're called logically equivalent, meaning they should be identical. And you're like, Miss Compton, you're making this stuff up. And no, I'm not. I can spell today. I can finish that sentence. I'm not making this up. This is actually some guy's law. So the way you had to learn like Pythagorean theorem, I had to learn that this was called De Morgan's law. Do I expect you to remember this man's name? No. Do I expect you from here on out to know the concept of when you try to distribute that negation symbol, it flips the operator? Yes. Okay, are there any questions about that? Well, that was the free version you get today. Here's the part you paid for. There's a new symbol. Here he is. So you not only have to know and or, I now expect you to know this arrow. It's an implication symbol. You see it a lot with sentences that say if something or other, then something or other. If you see the words if and then, that's your way of knowing something's implied something. What does implication mean in real life?
Implying something.
But what does implying mean?
Like you're adding into your...
Say your, yeah, that's right, Forrest, and you can add a point for that. Grant, say yours.
Guessing what's going to happen next.
You're trying to predict what's going to happen next. That's a point. Anyone else? Implying something. You're suggesting it, and add a point for that. For instance, here's one that's really obvious. I'm holding up my umbrella. What does that imply?
It's raining.
It implies it's raining. If I'm holding a fork and a spoon, what does that imply? I'm eating. So there are lots of things that are implications. If I'm using toilet paper, you know what that implies too. So there are lots of implications in life. So we're actually going to talk about the truth table with this in just a second. Okay, but you know how and or, if you get them confused, even though they look super similar, if you get them confused, you're really just screwed. The same way is going to happen with this arrow. It has to be drawn going that way. Can't be drawn going the other way, or else you're saying Q implies P, not P implies Q. And even worse, if Misha dares to make it a double-headed arrow, that means something completely different that's coming later. So you got to be careful when you see the arrow. It goes with if then, it means it's an implication. Something implies something. Okay, well, you know, we're at school, so I'm going to make a school example. Do you remember the rules of the road?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I always made fun of it because there was a rule that said if you're at school, you have to be wearing shoes. So we're going to have 2 sentences. One is you're at school. The other is you have on shoes. Surely we are holding you to higher standards than that. You must be dressed entirely appropriately. But at the least, Forrest showed up today with shoes on. We do have that rule. Okay, so we're going to make a truth table with these 2 statements because we want to see what an implication looks like. And if you did this, God bless your soul. I have not seen anyone, but I'm not completely done with the stack yet either. If you did not start off your truth tables yesterday, TTFF, TFTF, then when I get done rambling, you need to come tell me you're sorry, and then you need to tell me when you're going to come fix it. Because if you didn't at least start off that way, I don't know how you were going to get any points yesterday. Okay, so both things are true. So I am at school, and I have on shoes. So if I say the sentence, if I'm at school, then I have on shoes. Is that true? I'm at school, I have on shoes. So if I say a sentence about being at school and having on shoes, isn't that true? Okay. I'm at school, but I don't have on shoes. So that rule, if you're at school, then you must have on shoes. Am I following it? I'm breaking it, aren't I? That's a lie. I went to school, I didn't wear shoes, I'm in trouble. Okay. What is, if P is F, if P is false, what does that mean our sentence would be? Okay, well, what's our sentence for P? You're at school. So if you're not at school, F means you're not at school if it's in the P column. You're not at school. Do I care if Caitlin has on shoes when she's not at school? I just frankly don't care. So let's go back over this because that seems a little crazy. If Caitlin's not at school, I don't give a rip. Whether or not she has on shoes doesn't matter to me. If she's not at school, don't care. It's true. Don't care. I only care about Caitlin if she's at school, which is the two T's in the P column. And then, if she has on shoes and it's good she's following directions, she doesn't have on shoes, that's the only case where she is in trouble. What does this truth table remind you of, an and or an or? An or, why?
Because there's more truths.
Yes, because there's more truths. And I heard it from 1 and 2, so both get points. And tends to have a lot of falses, and or tends to have a lot of truths. Implications tend to have a lot of truths, because back to, frankly, I just don't care. Caitlin's not at school, I don't care what she's wearing. She's not my problem. She's only my problem when she's at school. And then I only need to get on to her if she doesn't have on shoes. So there's only this one little tiny chance I have to get on to her. And that's what you're going to do with today with implication with 2.2.1. I would love if you could get through number 11 with your group. I will gladly help you if you need me, and my goal was to get your papers back to you, because I would like for Misha to know where her grade is in this class as soon as possible so she can be happy with her life, which I'll see.